In the name of God, who sends every man dreams for his past in his sleep, and dreams for his future in his mind's eye. I'm going to read a paper about some current events, and I am going to read a paper about the economy of Turkey. So, Turkey is a, a power, an economic power in the Middle East, because of the geology, this iron deposits. And this is something that I really wanted everybody to be able to see. So, like, this is the map of the iron ore deposits in Turkey. So, this is Turkey, and there's a little bit of iron over there by Istanbul, and there's a little bit of iron here, just southeast of Ankara. There is the iron here where the earthquake was, and there's iron over here. And as we know, the mining in Turkey, they say it's coal, and this is a big factor of their ability to produce iron. And in the process of it, however, Turkey is just entirely rich in iron, and the Taurus Mountains, including all of there's many other mountains here that you know, are a tribute of that how much iron that is in this country. And what else have we? There is all kinds of mining, copper, gold, tin, lead, silver. These are all minerals that are often seen together. The these elements, they change based on heat, cold, and their interaction with each other. And you'll find them in bands or in globules, just throughout the earth, deep under the earth. So we're learning that there is some of these mines that they're using. The open pit mines are just like 1,000 meters, these open pits. And then there is the underground mines, where instead of digging up everything from the area, they try to tunnel in. And those are just loaded with every element that you could imagine, and it just all comes together, and you need to sort it out. If there's not, like, veins and globules already condensed, and you just process that material, and then you can get all of these different emerald or elements out of them. And we know Turkey is really big in mining, and that a huge part of their labor force depends on the income from their work in the mines. They are miners. And that, sometimes things happen in the mines, making it very, let's see if we can get that back. making it a very big sacrifice. It's a sacrifice when your job ends your life. So this is not a normal job. This is jobs that sacrifice, you know, these people that have paid great sacrifice, and they deserve protection. And this is a big part of the government of Istanbul's power, is his abundance of mines. They just have just an incredible economic force of power from these mines. And this is the Journal of Geochemical Exploration. This is old. It's from 2010. This is a very neat scientific paper, and you can go on the Google Scholar, or you can search all of these, just if you know the right question to ask, or you can take just a small part. Take your question and break it down to a small piece. And if you have 3 pieces, you go and find them, and then you put those 3 pieces together, and then you'll be standing on the shoulders of the professors. You'll stand right on their head. And this one is about trace and rare earth element behaviors during alternation and mineralization in the Atep iron deposits. And this happens to be about Adana and Fik Adana in southern Turkey. So it was even written by a Turkish man, which is great, a Turkish scholar. And so they're talking about the hydrothermal iron ores and all of these different types of iron ores, and how they are affected geochemically, and that the secret is that these elements are constantly being made by God under the ground. Constantly. There's no end in the supply. It's endless supply. So that it can be produced. So recently there was a series of diplomatic travels for the president of Turkey, and he went to visit UAE to just obviously the only purpose that they have is for is in diplomacy is trade agreements. And so he went to UAE, the United Arab Emirates, for trade agreements, and then they said in a general outline it was going to be defense, which we know that the Turkish economy is greatly has the raw materials for the raw material iron, and tons of products produced from that iron, and they sell them. So Turkey had like 10 billion in cars, 11 billion in jewelry, 7 billion in petrol, 6 billion in car parts, 6 billion in delivery trucks. So they're going to use the iron and generate products from it, and then so they could use these for trade. And the UAE is just insurmountable in trade of petrol. If you compare the numbers, UAE has 59 billion in crude petrol, 43 billion in refined petrol. This is 100 billion in gas is what UAE was pushing, compared to tens of billions that Turkey is claiming from. And that is absolutely because in order to make gas, you take rocks and water and you explode them underground. You make a bomb underground with the rocks and petrol, and you got gas. And that's the truth. And for Turkey to get that iron up out of the ground is quite a phenomenal task. To be able to retrieve those is a lot more difficult. They can't just him out. They gotta carry him out on the conveyors. So by comparison, and this is very important to me to be able to add this in for us, that the neighboring economies, we have, so here is Turkey, and we're looking south at Turkey here, and we're going to discuss the economy of Turkey and who is contributing to it, but I want to talk about this area of influence here, and that this is every stan that we have: Pakistan, Uzbekistan, Turkestan, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kakistan. These are all the stands, and each one of them is very dry. You can just see the obvious difference. Here's Turkey, just lush and green, and then here is sands. And these countries exist because of their rivers. And if you look to say, who is Uzbekistan, who is Turkmenistan, he is a river. That's who he is. And another one is a lake, and we'll show you. So here is this one Kyrgyzstan? This is Kazakhstan. It's quite large, Kazakhstan. And Kazakhstan has 2 billion in cars, 2 billion in media equipment, 1 billion in medicaments, and 1 billion in computers. That's 4 billion. It's not very much. It's not wielding the power of the neighbor lands. Then there is Uzbekistan. Now we're talking a little more. 5 billion in gold. Cotton yarn, 2 billion, and copper, 1 billion. So now we've got a international or regional player here, because they've got something that's very in demand, that's irreplaceable. And then there is Kyrgyzstan over here on the side, and that is 1 billion in gold, and some glass, 200 million in glass. So this region has gold and copper. It's very clear, and their economies depend on it. It's their only power. And then here is Turkmenistan. Petrol, 5 billion, and refined petrol, 1 billion. So this tells you everything about Turkmenistan, and I could tell you even more about Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan is these rivers here. There's nothing else to it. There is 2 rivers and a delta, and they've got this lake on their corner. So they're not living out here in the sand pit. They are living on those rivers, and that is Tajikistan. That is Turkmenistan. And they'll be living here on the coast, and that is who they are. And all their money is clearly coming from right here, because that's where the gas is. There's a lot of earthquakes here in this region, and that is a 100% indicator of their extraction of gas, because in order to extract gas, you must create an explosion. It's called fracking. And especially even oil sands, and every kind of gas and oil, it's going to be drilling down, setting the charge or the water pressure, and then hitting it. And then that rock and water is going to break up, and you're going to put it in your gas tank later. Afghanistan, they are 500 million in gold. This is gold country, clearly. Oh, it's this way. Gold country. It's very clear that they depend on it. Gold. And they've also got 200 million in some grapes and cotton in Afghanistan. Then you have Pakistan. 5 billion in linens. So this is a big linen producer. So they are getting the raw materials for making clothing in this area. And we do know that this region happens to be a big player, and even up here for the production of cotton and for the production of fabrics. So we know that this region has a big stake in that trade. And we gotta get to Tajikistan. If I fail to completely describe Tajikistan, it was aluminum and cotton. It's 75% of the export. So we have all of the stands, and that gives you a great how do you say, like, reference point about the power of this, about the powers of the economies. And Syria is just like hundreds of billions in phosphate, and then however many billions they're managing to get out of in gas. But with Syria, Tartus and Latakia are getting gas, and they're getting it out of the ocean basin just like everybody else is, and that makes it unlimited supply of gas, unlimited capacity to wield, and very strategic position for moving the gas anywhere they need to move it. The only thing, so Turkey visited Egypt last week, and this is more significant than United Arab Emirates, absolutely. And I will read the paper next about the connection, the power that these two leaders wield is the power to allow the access from the Black Sea to the White Sea, and from the White Sea to the Red Sea. In the name of God, he makes dreams the visions that man could see without his eyes in the purest light, though he is blind, who makes the waterways tell a story of things that conscious eyes couldn't see, and cold hearts couldn't believe. He whispers a secret, that fear it's a bad dream, and when I reach the conclusion, my heart is a lion, and I am no longer afraid to move forward. You will hear me roar. Every city has its limits of power. A group working together can have a great influence on the life of masses of people. The pearl cities of the Middle East have an average of 15 million people living in their metropolis. The geographic position of the city and the riches hidden under the earth are the power base for the metropolis, for the economy of the people who live there. The pearl city of Istanbul is in a geographic position that has provided the people a power base that cannot be competed with by any other pearl city except Cairo. Istanbul and Cairo have unrivaled power on the 5 seas of the Middle East, which are the center of power for the economy of the world. As you see, the leader of Cairo and therefore Egypt, named President El-Sisi, was smiling the smile of love and pleasure when he met with the president of Turkey last week. Have you ever seen a picture of someone madly in love? And look at the face of the president of Egypt last week. How can he smile so adoringly when you have blocked the border crossing to facilitate a genocide in Gaza? something very powerful has overwhelmed his rational thinking. It is very unfavorable to have a war on the Sinai Peninsula. This happened before, thousands of years ago. The prophet Musa, may Allah be pleased with him, he went to the slave labor force of his adopted father, the king, the ruler of Egypt. He then led them across the Sinai Peninsula to resettle. And as in his new land, it was due east in Palestine, the land of milk, honey, diamonds, olives, gold, and gas. Today, the people of the land of milk and honey have been blocked from fleeing into the Sinai Peninsula, where they could have access to the Red Sea shores. In the Red Sea, the people of the land of milk and honey, Palestine, could access the coastal city of Jeddah and get inland to the safety of the ancient holy lands of Mecca. Mecca is deep-rooted in the lineage of the prophet Ibrahim, and therefore has a sacred social alliance in the hearts of men. The people of Cairo would never in a million years want to hurt the people of the land of milk and honey. Cairo would never close the border of Gaza and stop the people of the city from fleeing and crossing into the Sinai Peninsula. The economy is the life energy of the people of the city. The economy never grows when the city is disconnected from the world. The loss of the connection to Gaza has made Cairo weaker. Cairo loses strength when it crosses the border, when it closes the border with Gaza, because every city has limits of power. A group of people have limits to the strength of their power in this world. One city cannot control the world. The world is too big for one city to control. The president of Egypt has tried to pick up a sword that is too heavy for him to swing when he told himself that he didn't need the people in Gaza for his economic power. He is standing on geographic and geologic powers alone, and he does not have a strong enough city base to confront the world economy. This is the same mistake that was made thousands of years ago, and it will be a mistake 1,000 years from now. When he does it again, it will still be a mistake. The Pharaoh of Egypt made a mistake when the prophet Musa, may Allah be pleased with him, told him to let his people go. Your loving daughter, Catherine L. Wan, written on February 17th of 2024. In the name of God, who made Turkey a powerful gateway for the economic life of Europe and Russia in the north, and a breastplate for the heart of the Middle East in the south. So here is two essential maps for the comprehension of the power of Turkey and its economy. It is essential to know that although Turkey is obtaining a great amount of power, Turkey is obtaining his economic power to hold this gate from the Black Sea to the White Sea to have any say, or someone will close his mouth. So he has power from this iron to hold the gate is under his control. Istanbul controls the gate, and no one has taken that control from him. And he's getting that power from this economic strength of this iron. So they're deriving it from the east, and they are focusing power into Istanbul. And that is significant that there is 2 rivers here. So this is the east of Turkey here, and you see that there's rivers that start here, and then now we're outside of Turkey, and then we're traveling down outside of Turkey into Syria and down out into Iraq. So Turkey has headwaters here for these rivers, and these rivers are the heart of the Middle East because they go through this section. They go through this section here. This is the core, a waterway for the 4 seas and the rest of the world. And this is the only other waterway, and this is a more ancient travel route, and it comes directly through. So that's waterways. That gets your ships. That allows you to transport trade in mass. Something that you cannot do if you walk across the land anywhere. Europe and Russia have access to all of the world through Turkey. Here is Europe, and here is Russia. So here is the Black Sea, and here is Turkey. So Turkey is controlling the access from the Black Sea to the White Sea, and therefore to all of the world. So what does that entail? Well, that means that any rivers and any economic powers that come from anywhere into this Black Sea are going to be gated through Istanbul. So that means a lot if the rivers are big, and they are. There is the Danube River that starts in South Germany, and it runs, which is, if you are looking just vertically it looks like it's over Italy and it's German territory, and that's the Danube, and it runs through pretty much all these European and countries, and in these great cities. They're the greatest cities. They've wielded economic power because they accessed the waterway, which allowed them to transport goods, and it created an economic leverage that they could never do locally. So here is the other river, the Dnieper, and that's from Russia. So we've got all of Europe feeding into the Black Sea and needing permission. And if you don't, you will walk. You will travel with everything on your back across the land to get to the sea. So then you have Russia here, and there is the river north. This river is north, this is south of Russia, and both of them, this is Russia has an intense economic interest in access to the Black Sea. So they've got these 2, and this explains why the Turkish have created trade deals with Russia to get gas, because in the eyes of Turkey, he cannot separate from Russia. There's no better suitor, no better bride, because who else is there? You're everything to him. Turkey is everything to Russia, and for thousands of years, the Russian empires have been trying to push south into that territory, absolutely because of this. These rivers. Europe and Russia. I should save this. Really see it really well. So, this is the best way to see it. 3 rivers. Europe and Russia access all of the world through Turkey. because this is why. To travel with trade and to cross the Pacific Ocean this way, to come across that Pacific Ocean is just tremendously large, and it's double to triple the time in travel, and there's nothing out there. However, if you were to travel this way, you could hit every place along the way and stop for gas and snacks. So they are coming, and they're all here. Many of them are right here. So the only way really to go is to hop on the river and to sail on down to the sea, and then to cross through the seas. There's only one way to get from the west to the east. There's only one way on the water. You must go through the black, you must come through the white, you must go through the red, and you must come out into the Arabian Sea. Then you can get to the sea number 4. Only one sea is landlocked and is not connected. All of the other 4 are connected, and they lead to the rest of the world. And they allow the rest of the world to get to us. The river named Danube crosses 3,000 kilometers of South Europe directly east and empties into the Black Sea at the river delta on the shore of Bulgaria. The largest cities of South Europe are located along the Danube River. The Dnieper River starts south of Moscow, and the Don Rivers, north of Moscow. The Don starts south of Moscow, and they empty into the Black Sea. The rivers provide the mode of transportation for the economy of Europe and Russia to connect with the world. Thus, they are adorned with the fruits of labor from all across the world. The Black Sea provides a water channel known as the Turkish Straits. All of the economic power of Turkey is focused into the city of Istanbul, the metropolis that straddles the north of the Turkish Strait. Turkey has a mountain chain along the shore of the Black Sea on the north of this peninsula country. All of the shores of all of these shores here in Turkey from the east to the west, it's not a joke. You try getting up these ones here. Let's try and let's come down to this is the shore of the Black Sea in the north in Turkey, and let's tilt her up. That's what you got to get across. You're gonna have to get your whole load and your trucks and everything all up and through there, hundreds of kilometers inland. So this is not the way to go, and this is the wall of protection for the country of Turkey, and it goes absolutely all the way across the whole shore. And that is why Istanbul rules the Black Sea. All of the traffic everybody has to come this way. Everybody has to come through the gate. So then over here on this east shore are the Caucasus Mountains. They rise 10,000 feet, and there's double chains, and that explains why there's so many countries here, small countries. It's a power struggle, and they were not able to create a great realm of economic control because they're sitting on mountains. They're on mountains. They can't really get that far because they're up there on the mountain. So they're all being forced this way. Turkey must look southward for all time. You must look southward for all time. You will be always looking to the south. she must put her economy southward. Turkey has access to the White Sea at its south shores. This is also very significant and explains why the second base of power here, Antalya, and over here in Gaziantep, is an ancient source of power, because they used to use these rivers to cross into, because it was shorter. And if you don't have engines, then you're not going to want to get on the sea. So, and certainly you wouldn't really want to go out, you wouldn't be trying to make some kind of cross the world travel with tons and tons of people, because you don't have an engine. So they would go this way. This was just the way of life for them, the way of economic life for them. And now that they've got engines, they figure they could just go anywhere really fast. At the White Sea, Istanbul is face to face with Greece on his west side. And on his south, he faces the east coast of the White Sea and the waterway that leads to the Red Sea. Upon land in Turkey, the only way to move is southward and east. The only way really to move is either over here, or gotta go down this way. There are headwaters of two rivers here, right there. Headwaters of two rivers right here is basically all of East Turkey. East Turkey is the headwater of the Middle East, the heart of the Middle East. He is the breastplate, absolutely breastplate, and especially because here is your iron, and they need it. The rivers start at the aquifers in the mountains of East Turkey and flow thousands of kilometers through the heart of the Middle East into the river delta of the Shatt al-Arab into the Red Sea. Shatt al-Arab into the Arabian Sea, rather. East Turkey is the headwaters that leads to the Sea of Arabian Kings, and the two waterways of the Turkish Straits in the west and those rivers in the east puts Turkey in a position to be the front door for the Middle East. The front door, it's made for protection and to control who can enter the economy. The river Danube and the river Dnieper have had a profound effect on the economy of Istanbul. Because Istanbul is the northern gateway of the Turkish Straits. Europe and Russia cannot access the world without permission for the transportation of trade through the waterway that connects the Black Sea to the White Sea. The economy of Turkey has grown through focusing economic power into the city of Istanbul. The population of 15 million people have provided a strong labor force for directing the flow of economic power. They are internally supported from the raw material of iron. Turkey is completely loaded with iron ore deposits. Iron ore is one of the two pillars for economic power. All of the red mountains, the red sands, the red soils are rich in iron ore. There is iron ore mining in Turkey, especially focused in the central and eastern region of the country. There is iron ore directly south of Istanbul and very near to access and transport as the raw material for economic infrastructure. Turkey is dependent on the ability to provide the world supply of iron, or at least the Middle Eastern supply of iron, to wield the economic power needed to maintain economic control over Istanbul, who straddles the water gate for the Black Sea to the White Sea. Turkey trades $50 billion every year in things made of iron ore, including the raw materials, more than any other country in the world. Three have strongly connected to the economy of Istanbul: Germany, United Arab Emirates, and Russia. Istanbul controls the territory of Turkey because of the economic power it has. Germany is the headwaters of the Danube River that leads to the Black Sea. Germany has a very powerful economy of $2 trillion every year. $600 billion of the economy is the trade of the motor vehicles. Or $600 billion is the control of motor vehicles. So, tells us that Germany is heavily invested in the trade of motor vehicles. Turkey exports to Germany to earn money from trade. Russia is the headwater of the Dnieper River. Turkey buys gas from Russia to supply 40% of the gas to the country. Russia trades the gas via pipelines to the Black Sea. The United Arab Emirates dominates in the world trade of gas, selling $100 billion every year. United Arab Emirates' economy depends on diamonds and gold as well, earning $50 billion every year. To connect to the power base of Turkey at Istanbul, the United Arab Emirates must use the waterway of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. So if United Arab Emirates, which is down here in the Arabian Sea, if they were trying to get to Turkey, well, really the only way to go is up the thing, unless you wanted to really make it difficult for yourself and come around. So what are you going to do? Well, if you have a pipeline, then you don't need to care about any of that, because you're just going to have a pipeline. So, and that's what they do best. So there's no mystery. It's probably absolutely exactly what they're doing. What else would they do? And so Turkey could be supplied one of the two pillars of its economic power, the gas for the machines. The position of Istanbul at the water gate for the Black Sea to the White Sea has caused Istanbul to thrive economically. The iron ore has provided a strong base of power for Istanbul to focus all the power of Turkey into that Istanbul. Thus, Istanbul is drawing all of the power of the economy from the land east of Istanbul, and Istanbul grows big enough to control the west shore of the Turkish Strait. So Istanbul has to hold the gates against all of Europe. So all of Europe has a huge, all of the Danube, think about it, every country in the south of Europe coming onto that Danube has an interest in getting into Istanbul, and for him to hold the force of economic strength against all of South Europe and hold him and control that gate. And they, at this time, this is internationally regulated, that they have an international agreements that it's under the international powers, so that there would not be any sovereign power or right from Turkey over this water, but he controls them. It's his land. He is there, and he absolutely is having a power there. He controls the gate because of the geography, and the geology of that land. Turkey has held power over this gate against two of the strongest economic powers on earth, Germany and Russia. And they are the northern gates for all of the world economy. That means over there in America, what are you going to do? Drive over to California and hop the Pacific 8,000 kilometers across? No way. You're going to come straight over here. This is written by your loving daughter, Catherine L. Wan, on February 18th of 2024. Allahu Akbar.